This explanation of how to do Warrior 2 is based on biomechanics, and it's not based on any school of yoga. So, the Ashtanga school of yoga, Shivananda school of yoga, the Iyengar school of yoga, the Bikram school of yoga, they all might have different interpretations of this pose, and neither one of them is right or wrong. But I'm just putting those theories to one side and just looking at this biomechanically. I'm looking at my audience, which is the general population, and I'm just trying to help them understand how they can best do Warrior 2 in a way that's going to accommodate their own bodies, rather than doing it in a way that pleases a particular school of yoga. The first thing we look at is foot position, and I have an acronym for this, which is FSB. The first thing is feet, and it's the most important part of the pose. It's the most important part of all standing poses. What most people do is they stand on their feet, but they don't really use their feet. And I want you to be in this pose and your feet are kind of creepy, crawly, they're dragging, they're clawing, and you look down. Not only can you see space between all 5 toes, but you're very confident that you have really good connection with the ground. And you know you have good connection with the ground because you can close your eyes. Most people who can't close their eyes or feel uncomfortable, a lot of the time it's down to the fact that their brain needs sensory information that they're not getting from their feet, so they have to open their eyes. But if you close your eyes and you're using your feet well, your eyes don't need to open. Your brain is quite confident and comfortable with the sensory information it's getting. So the most important part of all standing poses are your feet. And how far apart you should have the feet really depends how long your legs are. There's no right or wrong. But you want to be in a position where if you bend your front knee, your shin is perpendicular. Now that's not a golden rule. It could be slightly further back. Sometimes I like to have my knee slightly further forward than the ankle, depends how I feel. But as a general rule, as a guideline, your shin perpendicular and your thigh not quite parallel, just slightly higher. In terms of your foot position, if my front foot is 12 o'clock, your back foot can be 3 o'clock or 2 o'clock. It depends again on what feels better for you. So remember that general rule that I always share with you, that you shouldn't feel anything in the direction you're going in if you do something is wrong. Well, if in this position, as I turn my hip out, I would feel it in the direction I'm going in. I feel that in my SI joint. Most people don't know what that joint is, but I do, and I know it's very uncomfortable. So what I would do is I would turn my back foot into a 2 o'clock position. Now I feel the stretch in my hip, the back of my hip, which is exactly what I was looking for. So if I step back, I want to feel the restriction in the front, not the back. But if I feel it in the back, something is wrong. Turn the foot, do what you need to make that work. There we go. So the foot position is entirely what works better for you. If your front foot is 12 o'clock, which most schools of yoga agree on, your back foot can be 2 or 3 o'clock. Understand that some schools of yoga disagree. They say your foot should be in a particular position. But again, I'm just looking at this biomechanically. You do it in any way that accommodates your anatomy. How far apart your feet should be in terms of distance, a lot of people talk about railway tracks. So there's a line running through the middle of this mat, and I want my feet either side. That's going to give me really good balance and stability. When your feet are too narrow, when they're on a tightrope, something really interesting happens in the body. When your feet are on a tightrope, as you can see here, my heel is in line with the middle of my back foot. A few things can go wrong. If I turn to show you from here, most people stick their backside out and then the teacher comes in and says correct, and that's really awkward. The reason they're sticking the backside out like this is because of the back foot. Look what happens when I turn the back foot, it's gone. So that tightrope foot position, it might work for you, but you might stick your backside out. This is why I prefer the railway track foot position. So your feet are about your hip width apart. Again, front foot 12 o'clock, back foot 2 o'clock is what works for me. So that was F. What does S stand for? S stands for space. What you want to avoid really when you do Warrior 2 is this. See, this is going to start to compress my lower back. Look at this as opposed to that. So from the side angle, this becomes that. All I do is make space. I use my middle finger, prod my hip bone, lift my ribs up, and I just make space. I'm visualizing that I'm making space for the bones in my lower back. There. So F is feet, S is space. There. And B is breathe. Breathe in and out of the nose. When I inhale, I ease off to make my life a little bit easier. And when I exhale out of the nose, I sink, and I keep sinking until my legs start to shake and I feel a single tear coming out of my eye. That's my brain telling me I need oxygen. So I ease off again, bring more oxygen in, exhale. So really, when I look at you in this pose, if I recorded you doing this pose and then I sped things up, you'd be like that. That FSB, you can apply that to every single standing pose that you do. Prioritize your feet because they are the foundation. Create space between your hips and your ribs to keep your body or your lower back, neutral, so you don't compress your spine, which so many people do. And then breathe in and out of your nose. When you inhale, make the pose easier for you enough so you can bring oxygen in. You might find your chest lifts, your belly fills up, and when you breathe out, you might find that everything kind of relaxes and sinks in. I will be posting more videos like this, but if you want more extensive breakdowns of the poses, check out akramyoga.co.uk and have a look at our online CPDs where I go over poses like this in so much more detail, and they're designed to help you become the best yoga teacher that you can possibly be.